Have you ever tuned in into Iranian state TV and wondered why musical performances looked more like a flower shop slideshow than a concert? Well, welcome to the strange world of Iranian broadcasting, where for over 3 decades you could hear music, see musicians, but the instruments? Not a chance. Instead of guitars, or even a humble tambourine, viewers were treated to shots of roses, rivers, and maybe a spinning kaleidoscope or two. And no, it wasn't because they couldn't afford to show the instruments. This was all part of a censorship strategy that turned a violin into a vase of tulips. Why did instruments disappear? Well, the 1979 revolution and the rise of invisible music may be to blame. So, what's the deal with the disappearing instruments? Flashback to 1979, Iran's Islamic Revolution ushers in a new regime that's all about conservative values and religious purity. According to some clerics, music, especially the kind involving instruments, was a moral slippery slope. The logic went something like this: instruments are associated with indulgence and sin. Indulgence and sin lead to moral decay. Therefore, showing a piano on TV was basically tempting fate. Music itself wasn't outright banned, but instruments were deemed too seductive for national television. You could still play them in private, but broadcasting them to the masses, that was like handing out cigarettes in a kindergarten. The 2014 broadcast that changed everything. For 30 years, Iranian TV was all about the flowers. But in 2014, something wild happened. Channel 1, the main state-run TV station, decided to air a tribute performance to the Prophet Muhammad on his birthday. It was a traditional, respectful set by seasoned musician. Nothing controversial, nothing edgy. But then, the camera didn't cut away. Instead of zooming in on a bouquet or a mountain vista, it stayed focused on the musicians and gasp! Their instruments! Atar! Actual, visible instruments on Iranian TV. Cue nationwide gasp. Was this a sign of a new cultural era? Was Iran finally ready to let its music heritage shine without hiding it behind flower petals? Not quite. Gholamreza Bakhtiari, the show's producer, scrambled to do some serious damage control, claiming it was all a big mistake. I'm ready to accept the consequences, he said, which is the Iranian way of saying, I am so fired. Media frenzy, the day the strings were set free. Despite Bakhtiari's backpedaling, the media went wild. Reformist newspaper Shark declared, the spell on showing instruments in the national media is finally broken. Musicians, including singer Alireza Korbani, called out the absurdity of it all. How could Iran, with its rich musical heritage, keep pretending that instruments were dangerous? And let's be real, if a Kamenche was truly corrupting the youth, then Beethoven would have been the world's worst delinquent. How to fake it till you make it? Iran's pre-2014 musical workarounds. The 2014 incident wasn't the first time musicians tried to sneak their instruments past the censors. Jazz fusion band Pellet once performed on TV using air instruments. Yes, you read that right. Air guitars, air drums, air clarinets, the whole invisible orchestra. Was it awkward? Absolutely. Was it also kind of brilliant? Totally. In a country where showing a drum was more scandalous than showing a fistfight, miming your way through a set was the only way to get music on screen. Beyond the broadcast, the real impact of 2014 incident. That one accidental broadcast didn't spark a nationwide revolution, but it did get people talking. It opened a conversation about whether cultural traditions and religious values really had to be at odds with artistic expression. Since then, more performances have aired without as much censorship, but the rules are still murky. There's no official policy change, just a slightly looser leash. It's like the censors blinked for a second and musicians snuck in a few chords before the curtains came down. Flowers and cultural tug of war. In a country with a rich, centuries old music tradition, treating instruments like contraband is a cultural paradox. On one hand, Iran wants to protect its values. On the other, it's a nation bustling with musical talent, from classical maestros to underground rock bands. And that tension is still there, between the flowers and the strings and the kaleidoscope and the tambourine. Because when you silence the instruments, you're not just censoring a sound, you're erasing a culture. The moment a tar made it into Iranian TV may not sound like a revolution, but in a country where every note carries political weight, it was a huge deal. For decades, it wasn't really the musical instruments that were the problem, it was the way they were hidden and censored and treated with suspicion. That invisible music told a deeper story of censorship, of compromise, and the cultural tug of war. So the next time you hear Persian music, remember that behind every beautiful melody is an entire nation that just had to fight to show the instrument on screen. And sometimes even the best revolution starts with a tambourine. Thank you so much for staying with me. Let me know if you like that video by liking the video, subscribing, hitting that notification button so that you don't miss a single video. Remember, you can choose whether you want alerts on all the videos or just on certain videos. But more importantly, if you have a chance, please share the videos and share the channel, paste it on your social media, send it to your friends. That's really helping me. Also, follow me on IG and on X, and please be a member of our community. It's a vibrant one. We have a lot of discussions, not just on music, not just on Asian music, TV shows, movies, culture, and sometimes we just have fun. And there is a free tier just in case you want to try things out first. Thank you. See you around.